Good afternoon, welcome. I'm debating between sunglasses that don't have a prescription and reading glasses, but I'm going to give this a try because I'm staring into the sun. Welcome. I'm Lisa Melendy, the Director of Athletics. Thank you so much for coming today. It's a great day. We couldn't have asked for better weather and a better crowd. And again, I really appreciate the fact that you were able to come from far and wide to celebrate the opening of this boathouse with us. Just talking a little bit, everything we've heard about the boathouse in the past, starting as an ice house, a carriage house for horses. And over the years, rowers at Williams have created many memories here on this very spot. Moving on and off the water together, sweating and freezing together, driving and swinging together, so much time together, working hard here. And the work here has taken many forms, as anyone who's been on the crew or as coached here knows, putting in the docks, taking out the docks, fueling the launches, repairing boats, painting oars, all kinds of things, and actual rowing on top of all of that as well. I forgot loading numerous trailers, washing down boats. There's so much work that happens here. And as I said, eventually trying to get out on the water and row. And after all the work that's taken place here, the crews over the year have had many exciting moments and many successes, including things like trips to the Henley, races on the Charles, where the combined crews have won 8 championships. They've also combined to win 14 ECAC championships, 22 NESCAC championships, 44 Little 3 titles, and have been national champions 12 times. This is also a boathouse that has launched the career of Olympians. So, we've got this boathouse this boathouse clearly produces champions. And you already gave yourself a round of applause, which is what I was going to ask you to do when you reflect on all of that winning and glory. But beyond that, there's so much more. The old boathouse served you all well for lots of years, forging that spirit of resilience and hard work that I'm talking about that's still alive today. The team still loads onto the yellow school bus and drives 25 minutes in each direction. And that combined with the New England weather really forges this hard-working, charging spirit that's been forged during all of that work and hard work together. The new boathouse embodies the old spirit of Williams' crew, an efficient approach that's effective in meeting the goals they have set for themselves. The difference is now that they can get on and off the water much more efficiently, and as the coaches will tell you, all the time they don't need to spend doing that work is time they get to spend on the water, which is the precious and fun part. In short, this is a boathouse that can support the unique qualities and needs and potential of Williams' crew while sustaining the collaborative can-do spirit of our amazing students, coaches, and their supporters. And again, I could not be more excited to dedicate this boathouse today, and I couldn't be more thankful to all the people that made this, that worked tirelessly to make this the best project it could be, from people in design and construction, our facilities and ops people in athletics, head and assistant coaches over the years, people from development, and of course our generous donors who made this dream a reality. And I'm sorry if I've forgotten anyone, but this labor of love has spanned a lot of years. So I might have forgotten somebody along the way, but I am deeply grateful and so thankful for everybody that contributed to getting us here today. And I want to end by sharing a fax that we received. Yes, a fax from alumni rower Jeff Walker, class of 68 and captain of crew, because I think he summed up this moment quite well. On behalf of all of the members of the 1968 crew, including founder and coach Jack Shaw and his assistant coach George Marcus, I congratulate all of the Williams rowers and coaches who have followed us for 55 years. For their tremendous perseverance, dedication, generosity, and pursuit of excellence and competitive success, may this fine new Williams College Boathouse lead to even brighter days ahead. Thank you. And President Mandel will speak.
It's going to go up and down. Hello, everybody. What a beautiful day. It's so wonderful to be here with all of you to celebrate. So, as some of you know, Onoda Lake, not Lake Onoda, was historically a major source of ice for the Boston and Albany Railroad. Hard to picture today. They harvested tens of thousands of tons from here every year, and this site was where the ice house and a garage for horse-drawn carriages was located. People have put their backs into the work here for a very long time. I won't say that he's been here quite that long, but an awful lot of history of this place and program coincide with the career of Peter Wells from the class of 1979. Peter led Williams' men's crew for 35 years, taking it from a club sport into the modern varsity era. And in many ways, this boathouse is a testament to his perseverance and wisdom. When he arrived, Peter proudly built upon the legacy that founding coaches Jack Shaw, class of 1962, and George Marcus, professor of political science emeritus, established in 1967. And before going any further, I really do want to acknowledge this important group and recognize Peter formally. So please join me in doing that. Personally, I'm in awe of crew as a sport. I can't imagine riding half an hour every day down here, then pushing out onto the lake in a shell on one of those cold and windy Berkshire's days and working as hard as all of you do. We value the hard work and dedication of all of our athletes at Williams and recognize the important role that athletics, recreation, and physical education contributes to students who thrive at Williams and beyond. We also know the important role athletics has in building community, and we see this facility as the first project in a much-needed effort to update and modernize all of our athletics facilities. I'm sure many of you here feel that when it comes to hardworking athletes, rowers are in a league of their own, and you'll get no argument from me. I also know that hard work is only one of the ways in which Williams' crew exemplifies the qualities we're trying to cultivate in all of our students. There's a sense of community, there's a sense of teamwork, the ability to shrug off less than perfect conditions, hello leaky roof, and push through to build something truly great. 150 years ago, the first crew program started out with what Professor Fred Rudolph once described as a paper boat. In addition to the leaky roof, there were old toilets and creaky buildings. Achieving at such a high level in these conditions requires collaboration, creative problem solving, toughness, and a lot of love for your sport and for each other. I see that same spirit of love reflected in the fact that almost 400 alumni and families contributed to this new boathouse. I'd also like to make special mention of the very generous group of donors listed in the plaque inside. Thank you so much for everything that you have contributed. In typical Williams fashion, support for the Pull Together campaign included gifts at every level, with alumni and parents from every one of the last 50 years donating. Your contributions surpassed our goals in both dollars and donors. You will be hearing later from Scott Schweighauser, class of 1983, who will speak on behalf of the alumni and parent donors of this project. But I really do want to offer my personal thanks to Scott and his wife, Liz Elrod, for their contributions to the program and the alumni rowing community over the years, including the new boathouse. Thank you so much. Please, round of applause. Thank you. I'm so grateful and proud of all the work that's gone into this. And now I'd like to say some important thank yous, and then we'll hear from Paula Thoms, our current women's crew coach. So first, speaking of Paula, where is Paula? I saw you. There you are. Speaking of Paula, a huge thank you to all the present and past head coaches, assistant coaches, and interim coaches. Can we just give a huge round of applause for all? But starting with Paula and Marc Mandel, no, we're not related, but today at least I really wish we were. I'm sitting in your glory. Starting with Paula and Marc Mandel, who already do an amazing job and hopefully will enjoy doing it more in this new facility. And Marc, I hope you're recovering well so far and will be able to take full advantage of this space going forward. Also, thanks to Deputy Director of Athletics, Carolyn Miles, who acted as interim coach during the design and planning phase. I saw her already, but There she is over there. Thank you, Carolyn. I thank all of the coaches across the years, including Chris Cruz, women's coach from 1984 to 1996, who's also here with us today, and of course, Jack, George, and Peter. Collectively, their contributions made this team what it is, and I would just love to join a rousing thank you of a round of applause for all the coaches. Thank you so much. There are also the crew alums and families I mentioned. More than 120 of you have returned for this occasion, and nearly all of those 120 showed up to row at 8 a.m. Amazing. As many of you know, Nancy Storrs from the class of 73, whom we are honoring later, was the first ever women's Olympic crew team in 1976. And also here today are Ben Washburne from the class of 23 and his parents, Pete from the class of 87, and Jennifer. As hopefully you all know and don't need me to tell you, Ben and his team took silver in the Paris Paralympics just a few weeks ago. A brilliant accomplishment. Thank you so much. Congratulations. And of course, there are the members of the awesome Williams Crew Squad of 2024-25. What an amazing legacy you're all creating. Welcome and thank you. I also get to thank and want to thank Lisa and the athletics team for shaping the project, College Relations for raising such crucial support, Facilities who made the vision real, the trustees for their endorsement over years for this project, and the alumni and families who gave and engaged to make this day possible. And on that last note, on that note, my last huge thank you goes to everyone whose name is listed on the plaque inside the boathouse. Thank you so much for your leadership. That includes, as I mentioned, Scott and his wife Liz, who've made so many great contributions to the program and the alumni rowing community over the years, including this new boathouse. I can't wait to see what our amazing teams and coaches can accomplish with a facility worthy of your commitment, collaboration, and capabilities. You've already been so successful. What are you going to do with this? Where are you going to take us next? It's amazing. I'm really looking forward to seeing what we can all do. And so now, with that, I'd like to welcome head coach Paula to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Maud. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here today to share in this exciting moment in Williams Crew history. In my 2 years leading the women's team, I've quickly learned that the spirit of Williams Crew has less to do with the structure that holds our boats and oars, but rather a shared spirit of resilience, a pursuit of excellence, and a genuine passion for the sport and each other. It is these qualities that drive me to want to lead this team day after day. Well, that, and I would really like to get another NCAA championship up on that banner. But truly, I know it's about much more than that. For me, it's about creating a space that people feel safe to challenge themselves, to take risks, to ask questions, and explore their physical and mental limits. The kind of place I believe that Jack Shaw envisioned when he championed the program so many years ago. I have a great deal of gratitude for the coaches and teams who came before me, as they were the ones who had the perseverance and found ways forward in the face of so many challenges. The ones who built the foundation of excellence that we continue to build upon today. In spending time with Peter Wells and George Marcus and Chris Cruz, I understand the deep impact that Williams Crew can have on both the student athletes and the coaches that have poured their heart and soul into finding the best in themselves here. As we stand here today in front of this magnificent building, and I know many of you, share deep gratitude for what was here before and what stands here now. And although that what surrounds our boats has changed for the better, the spirit of Williams Crew remains the same and will live on for years to come. And now I'd like to welcome Abby Murphy, class of 2025, and team co-captain, to say a few words.
Hi, everyone. When I first stepped onto the grounds of the old boathouse, I had no idea what I was looking at. I walked onto this team as a freshman, having never rowed before, and on the first Monday of school, we came to the boathouse to listen to Eileen teach us about the different parts of a boat. I'm not sure we were even allowed to touch a rowing shell yet. I might have noticed the outdoor lockers falling apart and the porta potties in the back, but honestly, it was all so new and frightening. I wasn't sure how it ended up in a space I was told had been used by generations of great teams I knew nothing about, staring at a weirdly long boat. I couldn't get myself to actually look around that much. But I do remember noticing the team around me. I saw the way they talked to each other with care and joy, and I remember a stranger stopping after a practice to ask me my name and about my day. A small conversation that meant a lot to the more timid, frosh version of me. I saw a culture of love and support and noticed the constant drive everyone had to be the best versions of themselves, on the water, in class, throughout all aspects of life. I didn't know how to hold an oar, or really what a boathouse was, but I had a suspicion this team could offer me something like a home. Now, with a lot of support from Paula, Eileen, and my teammates, I spent my years as an upperclasswoman and captain doing my best to build on that culture. I'm incredibly grateful to have found a home on this team, and now to be in this beautiful new space that matches the excellence this team achieves. This fall, it has been so exciting to bring a new class of walk-ons to this amazing boathouse and show them that they can belong here. I think I can speak for the whole team in saying that we feel proud every day to be training in a space this impressive. We're on a team that works to transform every place it goes into the best it can be, though honestly, it's hard to make this one much better. So I want to thank everyone who helped make both this team and this boathouse possible. Thank you. And now I'd like to welcome Marc Mandel to say a few words.
All right, I never thought I'd give like the biggest speech of my life with like my toes hanging out of a cast. So fortunately they put the flowers here so you don't have to see like my right foot. So before coming to Williams, I'd coached at 3 other programs that all had plans to build a boathouse. To this day, none of those buildings have been built. When I interviewed at Williams in the summer of 2017, Lisa shared the college's long-running goal of replacing the Shaw Boathouse. "I'll believe it when I see it," was my internal dialogue. And I honestly didn't give it another thought until I was invited to a boathouse planning meeting in the fall of 2018, and we started making real progress on the design you see behind me. Literally, the day before Williams announced we were sending students home for COVID-19, we canceled alumni gatherings in Boston and New York, where we had planned to announce our official intent to build the boathouse. So you can't blame me for still not believing we were building a new boathouse until the day I was behind this fence and I physically saw them demolishing the boathouse. While there are countless people to thank for getting to this point, I do want to recognize one person, our Williams project manager, Teresa Sawyer, from the Office of Planning, Design, and Construction. And not only did Teresa manage all of the logistics, complexities, and personalities that come with a project of this size, she kept our team's experience at the forefront over the 2 seasons we were without a home. It should be noted that during the span of rowing from a tent at Camp Winnetou, between our men and women's teams, there were 2 NESCAC championships, a New England championship, selection to the NCAA Women's Championship, and an IRA National Championship. This would not have been possible without Teresa's commitment to the project and our team. So thank you so much. While we may officially be opening a boathouse today, in reality, we are dedicating Williams' newest and most spacious classroom, a space to be leveraged by generations of Williams crew athletes to come. As we can all attest, the lessons learned in our sport are immeasurable, the experiences unforgettable, and the friendships everlasting. The beauty of our sport, and why I think it resonates so much at Williams, is that the simple pursuit of boat speed teaches us so much. Just this week, our novice athletes, steered by novice coxswains, took their first ever strokes, wearing gear that had been passed down to them by our returning athletes, who probably received the gear from some of our alumni here today. While they did fine for their first ever day on the water, understandably, they still have a very long way to go. So my assistants now have to drive me everywhere, so we get to really debrief practice on our way home. And so after practice, my assistants, Patrick and Max, and I asked each other the same question I ask myself honestly every year. How do we get from point A, taking our first awkward strokes, to point B, patiently placing the blade with long, relaxed arms, hanging on the handle all the way through, and letting the boat breathe out before the cycle repeats again and again? No matter how many years I've been coaching, it's nearly impossible to envision this transformation when our athletes are at the beginning point. But each time when a Williams crew rower or coxswain puts their full self into this sport, in one way or the other, they get to point B. While sparked by the simple goal of taking the perfect stroke, the learning that happens in getting to point B goes well beyond the rowing itself. It's even more about the genuine connections we make and the habits we ingrain along the way. We talk often on our team about how each day we are laying the foundation for the next day and the day after that, all in an effort to be our fastest in the month of May. Laying this foundation, though, is not merely a yearly exercise, but it has been ongoing for decades. Our current team inherits their experiences and opportunities from those who came before them, and they will lay the foundation for those who come after. I can't express enough gratitude to all of you for fostering a special spirit that is unmatched in the sport of rowing at any level. It's comforting to know that today, through this beautiful building, we are literally laying the foundation for generations of Williams crew athletes to come. I'd now like to introduce Brij Howard-Sarin, a junior on our team who is well on his way to point B.
Hello, I'm Brij. I came, like Marc said, as a novice, and like Abby, I was very nervous the first time I stepped here. I'd only recently learned about the sport about a month before, and now I had to put an oar through the water and get in a shell. We could talk a lot about the construction of this boathouse, but I remember when the foundation was laid for me by my generous teammates. It was during my second week about 2 years ago. I remember the day. Coach Marc sent us out in fully mixed lineups. I was rowing in front of Ben Washburne, and Isabel was my coxswain. Safe to say I was terrified. We started slow. I made it through the pick drill, but then we started to pick up the rate. And as we picked up the pressure, about a minute in, I caught a really nasty crab. The oar flew over my head, I slumped backwards, and from behind me I heard a crack. I looked back, and I had just broken our 1V shell, our brand new carbon fiber Hudson. We rowed back by sixes, my head was low, and my face was bright red. I fully expected that to be the end of my time on this team. But I was about to learn exactly what this team was made of. I got on the bus, and I sat alone. And then a junior came down and sat next to me. I'd had about one conversation with him, and he launched into a story about how he had caught a crab as a novice and cost his team a state final. Another one of my teammates heard that and joined in. He'd talk about a crab that he caught that launched him out of the boat in front of a visiting recruit. And then our captain sat down, and all he told me was that it would get easier. And then he asked me if I was a Niners fan. 6 months later, I was sitting in Marc's office in the dead of winter, and he was asking me how I was doing and how training was going. I told him I loved rowing because teammates couldn't be mean to each other. It just wasn't possible with rowing, like it was with the sports that I had grown up playing. He laughed. He said, "I'll take that as a compliment because that's definitely not always the case." It's truly special that as a novice, I broke our newest boat in my second week, and then not even a full season later, I couldn't imagine a world in which my teammates would hold that against me. That, to me, is the real foundation of this boathouse, and it's been around for decades longer than any of the rowers today. On this team, especially this year, we talk a lot about commitment. But it was that commitment to kindness and community that my teammates showed me in my second week, and it's kept me here for 2 years. It's that same commitment that's baked into the very core of Williams Crew. It was here at the old ice factory, it was across the water at Camp Winnetou, and now it's in the pillars of this very boathouse. That's what this place is for us. It's a space where we get to buy into team values, support each other, and become the best versions of ourselves. It represents ownership of our actions and our enduring commitment to each other. And it's that commitment that makes me proud to be on this team and prouder still to be here today representing it. Thank you. And now I'll welcome Scott Schweighauser, class of '83, to say a few words.
Hi. Marc, I just want to let you know, I've been rowing for 45 years. You never get to point B. I want to say hi to everyone. It's a really warm day, so I've decided to shorten my half-hour remarks to a little bit shorter. My name is Scott Schweighauser. As you know, I'm class of 1983 and a member of the 1981 Henley boat and of the lamely named Purple Rain Rowing Club. And thank you. And of course, rain is spelled R-E-I-G-N, just to make it really queer. We have rowed in the head of the Charles as Purple Rain since 1987. And we have a motto, own the slow. And so we do. As I stand here, I'm struck by the fact that even though so many of us have never met and are meeting for the very first time, we all know each other. We share the same character, the same relentlessness, the same sadistic pleasure in driving 22 not so eco-friendly miles each way to pursue one of the most demanding sports in an often hostile setting, Lake Enoda, and doing this at one of the most challenging academic institutions in the country. By the way, I'm riffing on themes that you've already heard, so please bear with me. It seems that we EAF rowers have been and always will be on a first-name basis with adversity. In reality, those hardships are a magnificent blessing in disguise. Rowing at Williams unlocked our grit, a gift of immeasurable value, which I imagine has carried you, as it has me, through both the challenges and triumphs of life. Rowing at Williams is a gift responsible for something great in each of our lives. The gift of enduring friendships, perhaps success in a career, happiness found with the love of your life, or perhaps like several of my teammates, the gift of a quicker pathway to artificial joints and a pacemaker. I'm not kidding. Looking at this boathouse, a simple but beautiful structure, I'm overwhelmed by the generosity of so many alumni parents, and other friends of Williams Rowing, all of us here today, who made this possible. We understand the gift of rowing at Williams. Although a boathouse is just a building, concrete, wood, metal racks, and not much else. Well, okay, toilets. I'm so glad to see those porta potties gone. This particular structure is so much more. It's an aspirational space. Williams rowers have always been quiet and confident and exceptional. It's our secret sauce. And I hope that this boathouse, despite its fresh new spaces, won't change any of that. To all you current EAF rowers, I ask that you strive to be worthy of this space, this sport, and especially this unique tradition of Williams rowing, a tradition that really hasn't changed that much over the last 60 years. Rejoice in the hardships that are, ultimately, rich and rewarding. For the alumni rowers here, after we're done celebrating, eating and drinking, and nursing our sore muscles after this morning's row, full of the same joy, but perhaps down a click or two on the grit part, pick up your cell phone, call, text, or email a teammate who couldn't be here today, or get in touch with an EAF rower that you've come to know or have had contact with since your time here at Williams. If you haven't already done it, put a boat together. Enter the head of the Charles, as we do at Purple Rain. You might have to pay the charity fee to get in, as we do. We don't qualify. It's worth every penny. Commit to rowing together every year. Dream up a ridiculous name for yourself, like Purple Rain, and have some unis made and be grateful that you can still get into a boat together. Remember how rowing at Williams helped shape the women and men that you are today. So just find any excuse to put a boat on the water. You'll never regret recapturing those feelings that you still carry with you every day. And whatever you do, no matter what, show up for each other. And I know you will, because I know all of you. Thank you.
Ready? 2, 1.
It's official. Thank you, everybody, for coming. We appreciate your time. Take some more time to look around the boathouse. Thank you.